Okay, so I've just done 15 rows. I know I said 12 in the last portion, but I ended up thinking that I'm not going to finish off this raw edge. I'm going to leave it rolled over, so I wanted it to be about the right length as opposed to the right number of rows. So if I was going to make that edge like a finished straight edge, then I would say 12, but I'm going to let it roll like this. So I'm going to do 15. So after you've done 15 circles on that loom, the next step will be to get rid of one of your pieces of yarn. So I'm using 3 like I said before. There's my 3. I'm actually going to stop with this one for now. The smallest ball that I've got of the dark green yarn, I'm going to put that aside for this section because we are going to do a color change now. But first we need to create a little bit of interest in between each color. So for that, what I'm going to do is tie off that first dark green, and then what we've been doing is wrapping around the full way like that. What I'm going to do now is just keep it in front like this. Okay, so by putting it in front just like that and pulling the yarn over in the same way we were for the previous rows, just like this. And then once it's over, it's a little difficult, I'm doing it upside down. Once it's over, we'll pull it over the next bit. What that's going to do is tighten these stitches. So this part of the pattern will look a little bit tighter, which will end up making the parts that are looser look like they're bubbling out, like the body of a caterpillar has in that book, some bulbous sort of body segments. So I'm just gonna go around 2 times like this. So make your way all the way back to that peg and then do it again. And those stitches will end up looking a little bit tighter and a little bit, just a little contrasty. They won't look exactly the same as this. It won't be so fat and it won't be such a dramatic V. So I'm just gonna make my way around 2 times, and from there, we will be doing our color change to the more yellowy brights that are on that caterpillar. Okay, so I've gone around the loom twice with that very tight stitch, and I don't think that you can necessarily see it yet on the inside, but I know that it's done all the way around. So you can see it kind of from here. You can see that these ones are the 3 colors, these ones up here, the tight guys, are 2 colors. So I'm going to pull them all down, and now we're going to change out some of the colors. I'm going to include this color because it has a lot of bright green and some blue even, and then I'm also going to include this yellow color. So the one that we are actually going to replace these 2 with is this green. Great way to change colors, to give yourself a little bit of a tail when you cut it, just like that. So I'm going to grab those 2 and I'm going to tie them a regular old knot. This is going to be on the inside, so it's not going to really matter a whole ton. Pull that knot down to the loom and pull nice and tight like that. And then I'll just double knot it for a little extra security. And then I put those knots all on the inside. Now I'm going to do what I did for the first 15 rows. I'm now going to do another, I believe this time it's only going to be 12. So I'm going to say 12 because I think we're only going to be doing 12 rows of this. And I'm just going to wrap once with those 3 strands around the entire loom like this. And you can see how happy those colors are getting when they're all mixed together like that. And then when we get back to the front, I will again wrap it around that peg and pull it back behind, and then I will take my loom tool and pull those previous rows over top of that new loop. I also have linked in the description all of the yarns that I'm using for this tutorial so that you can get the exact same color scheme as me. I'm also going to obviously link all of the tools so that you can make it yourself. first I'm going to do 11 more rows. So this time we are just going to do 12. Again, I am making this as I go. So the first one I thought we would have 12, but we had 15. So we did 15 regular rows followed by 2 super tight rows. Now we're going to do another 12 regular rows with the new color, and then we're going to do, you guessed it, 2 tight rows with that with the new colors, and then we're going to switch the colors back to that green. So there's going to be four color blocks, I believe. We might have to make it 5 if it's not long enough, but I think we're going to be just fine with 4. So there was the first row. Now I'm just going to go around again 11 more times. And so you could pause the video here while you do your 11 rows, and when you come back, we will have a lot more of a cocoon coming, and then we'll do those 2 tight rows. So just pause the video, finish what you're working on, and then come back. Okay, so I just made it to the end of my 12th row on the new color. So I've got the green and then the yellowy green layer, and now we have to do another 2 rows of that different stitch. So first we have to get rid of one of the yarns. So I'm just going to do this one. There we go. And then I'm going to tie it to this yarn just so that there's some somewhere for that to not get lost. Be nice and secure. And now we're going to do 2 rows with that different stitch. So that one is the tighter stitch. Instead of wrapping around like this all the way around, instead what we're going to do is just pull it over like that, and then with your hook grab the loop, grab that loop from the previous stitch and pull it over like that. So there will be 2 on your peg, and those 3 will be pulled off. So then go to the next one, grab these guys, pull them over. And I'm going to go all the way around 2 times with this stitch, and I can actually show you now what that, there we go, what that does. So if you look right here, do you see how it sort of bubbles down and bubbles back up? That's because there's 2 rows of stitches with just 2 pieces of yarn and done in that tighter stitch. So once it's all finished, it'll look more like the segments of a caterpillar's body. See, like that, nice and puffy. So like I said, I'm going to go around 2 more times with this stitch, 2 more circles or 2 more rows of just pulling it over this way, and then with the little hook pulling it over. It's a little tight, but you'll get it done all the way around. So after you finish your 2 rows, come back, just pause the video until then, and I will come back as soon as I have finished. Okay, so I just finished my 2 rows of the tight stitch for this segment of the caterpillar. Now I'm going to swap out 2 of the colors. So I am going to keep the yellow for this row because I liked the yellow. I'm going to get rid of that green and white combo, and what I'm going to use is the brown because I thought that would be fun, and then I'm going to put in the brown with the green. So it's going to be one of the dark rows, but it's going to be different colors. Originally I was just going to use 2 different color combinations, but I think that changing it up every segment will make it a little bit more like how the actual book looked. And now we are going to start the next row. And for the next 12 rows, we're going to do what we've been doing with the wrap around stitch. So wrap around all the way with 1 loop like that, and then we're going to pull the loop that's closer to the body of the loom over top of that loop for 12 rows. So I'm just going to finish this one and begin pulling it over. So I'm just going to do this all the way around 12 times. So you can pause your video here, and when you've done 12 rows, come back and I'll show you how to switch to the different stitch again. And I think we're going to be halfway there at that point.